times.
I didn't have my short shorts were back in my college days, actually.
Okay. I'm like
certainly not patient. Certainly not patient. And Dad was darn glad that I was born because I was a nice tax deduction.
So, who's your favorite kid?
No, I was never a nerd, actually. That was my...
Well, you were a nerd when it came to talking to girls.
Yes.
You're afraid of
them. That was 100%. Yes. Yeah, there was this one time I was... story is like I was about 12, I'd say, and I was out there. There's some kid, and he was making a little bomb.
Oh, what?
But
was he a terrorist cell?
He wasn't a terrorist. There was no such thing as that. So when I say that,
yeah, that's true. There wasn't. Not in the 70s.
No. And then in high school, I would see these pretty girls, but I wouldn't talk to them either. I mean, I would say hi, but that was about it. And it was really that way even in college.
What's up, guys? Had my dad on for the last podcast of the month. We just talked about his whole life story and being a father and his faith and, his love for sports and all this funny family stories we got going on. There's a lot of good stuff in here. But I just want to say thank you for tuning in, subscribing, guys. This is the last podcast of the year, so Happy New Year, all that jazz. Once again, I just wanted to say shout out to me because I finally made my goal of releasing 3 podcasts a month for the whole year of 2025. So got a lot of stuff coming in once again for 2026. It's going to be explosive. It's going to be great. Once again, I'm going to step up with the editing. I'm going to step up with the guests. I'm going to step up with my interviewing skills, all that stuff. Once again, to the moon. And hope you enjoy this episode with my dad. Thanks. What's up, guys? This is The Last House on the Left. This is where I chopped up with my friends, kill time, and speak what's on my mind. This is the last podcast of the year. I'm so excited that I was able to make my goal of releasing 3 pods a month for a year. Dad, you are my last podcast. Thank you so much for coming on. A couple people actually asked if you're ever going to make it on.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. Do you feel intimidated? Are you nervous? Are you excited? Tell me what's going through that mind of yours right now. Probably nothing to do with the podcast, honestly.
I'm not intimidated.
Good.
I'm impressed in your setup here. And
nice.
I think that's cool that you've been getting all these people to listen in and talk about lots of things. So,
yeah.
Good to be here.
Cool, man. Well, I'm glad you finally took the time to come on the podcast because you just retired. So it took you retiring to come on the podcast. I don't know how I feel about that.
I had no more excuses.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I get it. Not everyone always wants to come on, but I think once I can just get someone in the building or even get their head thinking, that means I can really get I have a good chance.
Well, I also listened to some other people, and I was like, oh, this is a pretty good podcast.
Yeah?
And I ended up subscribing.
Nice. That's good. So you made a YouTube account actually to subscribe to it?
I think so.
Yeah. Well, something like that, right? Oh, my gosh. That's so funny, man. Well, how does it feel retiring, man, since it's so fresh in your memory?
It feels very strange. I've been working for 55 years.
Jeez.
And so it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm trying to think of, so right now I'm 27. So if you double my age, right, that'll be 54. And that still doesn't make the cut of how long you've been working.
Right. I'm 66, going to be 67 in a week. So
yeah.
It's been lots of years. And I don't really like the word retiring because
there's finality to it.
Well, there's a finality to it. It's like, what did I do all those years working? But more than that, it's like, I'm not retiring from life. And in fact, it's the last thing I want to do is retire. I feel like if my life has no more purpose, then what the heck am I here for?
Yeah, exactly, right? I love the existential thoughts already.
Anyhow.
I saw something online recently when I think it was on Instagram or Facebook. And it was, I think this... it might have been Ben Shapiro, this political commentator guy, was saying something about like rising the retirement age to like 76 or something. And I was like, who wants to be doing stuff for that long and whatever.
There's a couple guys older than me at work that were like, had no intention of retiring. They loved what they were doing and they wanted to keep doing it as long as they could.
Yeah.
So I was not of that mindset, So for me, I was in the high tech field, and in the high tech field, it's a continually learning process.
Yeah.
And it's like you don't like learn once in college and then you're done. You're learning in the high tech field because it's always changing, and so I happen to keep up with technology. It's like it's not as easy anymore, and so I'm just ready to be done.
Right, and think about. Yeah, not every job that people do oftentimes. And for me, I feel like I'm more of a creature of habit where I'm like, I don't have to be doing the same thing every day. Well, I don't even know what I want to do for my life still. So hopefully that'll get moving. But I don't want to talk about any of that stuff today. We're here to talk about you, Pops.
All right.
How do you feel about the word Pops, by the way? It's kind of, I've never really, that's never been a thing.
I think you're the only one who calls me Pops, and it's like,
it's really kind of like if
it's better than my old man. So
yeah,
but
that's fair.
I'm not sure I like Pops either.
Yeah, Pops is kind of, it's like a weird, like it's not a very I'm trying to think of the name of the term. It's not a very endearing term,
Now my brother, we were down at his house today, and his granddaughter calls him Opa.
Opa.
I think it's German or something.
I thought that was like a Grecian thing when you drop something on the floor, they go Opa.
I don't think so, but I was like, hey, that sounds really cool.
Yeah.
So it sounds better than old man or whatever.
Yeah, that's fair. Also, really quickly, because I'm selfish and narcissistic. You said you listened to a couple podcasts. What was the favorite one that you've listened to so far?
This one, Ben Paquin, that was really good. Of course, My Wife and You, and then and John Marshall. I really loved that one too. And all three of those were good. And did I say Josh?
Winans, right?
Josh Winan. That was very good as well. So those four of them are
part one or part two.
I both of them.
Yeah, they were great.
Yeah.
So he's actually, but when I finished the podcast with him, directly after, I was mentioning, like, hey, do you think I could get, our old friend, my old history teacher, Berger, on? He's like, he's like, you absolutely probably could. So stay tuned, guys, for next year. But he was mentioning how he's like, even me and Berger could come in here. And we could talk some history or whatever. Because we were talking about, like, at the time, Iraq, Afghanistan, Israel, Jerusalem, all that stuff. So it was cool to see. But yeah, I'm super, I can't believe that I was able to get, it was nice. Like, it's just rare for me to like set a goal and achieve it, so it's nice. And who knows, maybe down the line working on this stuff, I could figure out, maybe not podcasting, but just, I don't know jack about squat to put it super lightly and super family friendly.
But nobody knows everything about anything anyhow, and it's like building on little things, right? So you've been successful in something, and just let that be like an encouragement to you. And it's like, okay, I'm going to build on that, and that's kind of how things happen.
Yeah, and even for successful, all I'm saying is like, hey, you can get multicam, and you can get the video and the audio synced up. That's successful. As for subscribers and all that stuff, it's just, that's a whole nother game. Yeah. But yeah, man, so this is just kind of going to be more of a relaxed, laid back one. Just interview you. Happy birthday, or happy early birthday, by the way. So
Thank you.
Birthday is the 31st. So we're filming a couple days after Christmas. It's kind of interesting. It's just that we're in that pocket of like, almost like, no, I don't want to say like the no-name days, but it's like almost like no days matter between Christmas and the New Year, really. Well, I don't want to say that because your birthday,
that's right,
is in between. So
and my birthday was a very important birthday, you see, because when I was born at 11:15 on Christmas Eve, or on New Year's Eve, right? Yeah. So I was almost the first New Year's baby, but my dad was darn glad that I was born because I was a nice tax deduction.
Nice.
And the nurse who helped...
Damn, really, Bill? Come on, man.
And the nurse who helped deliver me, she cleaned up and everything else, went down to the local social bar and got there right at midnight. And as the ball was coming down, all the social people, she was able to say, Bill Sontag just had his 5th child. Big roar.
5 out of 6, yeah. There we go, man. Yeah, Yeah, so let's just start from the beginning, man. Little kind of like autobiography of your life for me. Just interviewing you, man. So let's start with it. So you were born in 58, right?
Born in 58.
So what was childhood like growing up in the 60s?
Yeah, in the 60s. So you say the 60s, but for me...
You would really say the 70s?
No, not really the 70s, but it's like not the early 60s. I think of it as like 66, 67, 68. That's what I think of. And so for me, I grew up in a great neighborhood. I am number 5 of 6 kids. I'm just a kid kind of growing up, seeing all the other kids running around. And so it was nice growing up. I had a solid family. And for me, I had lots of kids in my neighborhood. And so we were all just playing stuff all together. And it was just a great place growing up. 67, I was just getting into sports. And you wouldn't know this, Ben, but for people in my age group back then, is the Boston Red Sox were a team that was usually a terrible baseball team.
Yeah.
And in 1967, they had a guy named Carl Yastrzemski. And he became the MVP, and the Red Sox got to the finals of the baseball playoffs, got to the World Series, and ended up losing it in the 7th game, but they got to there. And it was a great season, and that's when I started following sports a lot. So that was part of, for me, most of my growing up days in the 60s was just playing sports with all the kids in the area. And so we would play every sport. We would play baseball, and then we'd go to football, and then after football we'd go to basketball and hockey,
right? And
then we'd do it again, and every year we'd do it again. And there were 20 kids in my neighborhood, and that's what we do all the time.
Right, and that's what's so cool. I've probably mentioned this to, at least I don't know if I've mentioned it on air, but it's interesting when you look back on even my childhood. I feel like my age bracket is really the cutoff where, and I think I just mentioned this with Shane, actually, the podcast before you, where I remember I would go out and play when I was a kid, like out in the neighborhood or whatever. Mom would whistle for me to come home. Like I am the last generation for that to ever happen. I mean, there's a couple young families that kind of come and go in our neighborhood the last couple of years, but you don't really see like kids like really playing outside, or you do, but not like, it was like being outside and being in the neighborhood, that was the fun.
Yeah.
And then playing a sport, or going in the woods and playing, whatever.
All the electronic stuff wasn't around. I mean, it was starting to come out when you were young, but we certainly weren't going to let you do that.
Thank you for doing that. I'll tell you now.
Like your mom, she's the one that kicked you out. You're like, get out, get outside and do something.
I mean, you didn't think the same way.
Well, I was working, right, and so I'm not there to kick you out, but she was there to kick you out.
Yeah, and the last couple of years, what was that? The last 6-7 years of your career, you were most of the time you were able to work from home, right?
Probably almost the last 10 years I was remote and working from home.
That's the word, remote.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
What were popular trends that you had at the time when you were a kid? Like, what was very, stuff that was very in, like the way either you dressed or the way you talked.
That's how it's funny you say that, because I don't really think a lot about that. I'm not really into that much stuff. But there's only a couple of things that I remember. I can remember us all having butch haircuts. You know what I mean? You'd go over and we'd just, every couple of months the dad would come out, sit you out on the porch, and he'd pull out his electric razor and start buzzing your head. And,
wow.
And he did that for till I was 8 or 9 years old. And then some of the other neighborhood kids would do that, as neighborhood dads would do the same thing. And so I was used to that. So what other trends do I remember? I don't really remember a lot more. For me, the trends, I just played sports all the time, and that's the only thing I really cared about.
Yeah, so you were a jock.
I was
kind of a jock and a nerd at the same time.
No, I was never a nerd, actually. That was my...
Well, you were a nerd when it came to talking to girls.
Yes, that was 100%. Yeah, see, I never talked to girls. I thought they were cute, but I didn't know how to talk to them, so I just kind of stayed away from those creatures. They were pretty creatures, but I didn't know how to talk to those creatures. I love it. So there was one other thing I wanted to say.
Would there be even a movie or a TV show that would describe your life in the Late 60s, early 70s.
I would say, see, the one that I always remember is Star Wars, like watching this movie.
Right.
And,
of course.
And one of my...
78? Is that
Yeah, I think so. So I'm, I guess
20.
19. I was 19 then. And so I had one of my friends like, hey, let's go watch this movie. Now, this guy was a 35-year-old guy, and he had watched the movie 4 times already, and he invited me to it. Right?
Wow.
I'm like, I thought that was kind of strange. Then I'm in there watching this movie, and this guy's repeating the lines before they even,
one of those guys.
One of those type of people, because
I know a lot of people that were like that and still are like that. And it's cool, like, depending upon how much you love the movie.
Yeah. So the other thing I want to say, trends about growing up. So the other trend I would say in our neighborhood, we're all out there. All these kids are playing, and there's girls too. But the girls didn't really play with the guys too much. Once in a while, but because we were really, we were roughhousing when we play, because we'd play football.
Girls ain't playing tackle.
Yeah, they're not playing tackle football with us, But we played cops and robbers and everything else like that.
I remember that.
We'd play, somebody counting. What's this? What hide and seek, right? We played hide and seek, things like that. So,
but like all over the neighborhood, right?
All over the neighborhood. But here's the thing that I would say was, the families were they were fairly big families. Like,
right. Yeah, of course.
The family right next to mine had 10, right, and another family. But more was like we had one with 4, another one with 3, another one with 5. We had 6. So there was a lot of families with at least. The least amount was like 3 kids. So there's all these kids around all the time. And the families he knew all the families. They'd go in our house, I'd go in their houses, and it was really good, right? And there was an incredible respect for the parents of the other kids that you played with. Like you always were nice to them. Like it was like, yes, Mr. and Mrs. them, Mrs. Moynihan, Mr. and Mrs. Gannon, and all these different things. And so there's always an incredible amount of respect that went on. So much so that if I did something wrong, and one of those other parents saw it, those other parents would tell my parents, and I would get in trouble. And vice versa, So it was like, because you didn't mess around. In other words, you had like a neighborhood of parents that were like looking out not only for their own kid but for all the other kids in the neighborhood. And if you started doing something wrong, they found out.
Right, like neighbors were almost looked like as like extended parts of the family.
Exactly.
Back in the times, yeah.
Yeah, there was this one time I was. Story is like I was about 12, I'd say, and I was out there and this other kid, and he was making a little bomb.
What?
But
was he a terrorist cell?
He wasn't a terrorist. There was no such thing as that. So when I say that,
yeah, that's true. There wasn't, not in the 70s.
No, and it wasn't even. I was maybe. This might be 1970, right? Because I'm about 12 years old.
He's one of the Coke Mento bombs.
It's a Coke. It's like these glass Coke bottles, right? And he fills it up halfway with gasoline, right? And he takes a piece of rope from like a clothesline, cuts off a piece of rope, maybe 6 inches, sticks it into the Coke bottle, right? And then takes a lighter and lights it on fire. I'm sitting in this chair with this thing that he has in front of me.
You're sitting holding it?
I'm just sitting there watching it, right? And he's doing it together, right? And so he lights it on. He lights it, and the wick falls off and lands on my knee and burns my knee. So nothing blew up, right? It was no big deal.
Oh,
right?
Man.
So I walk home.
A little bit of a letdown.
So I walk home and kind of probably crying, So his parents, heard what happened because it was on their property. So his dad comes over to my house, checks on me, sees if I'm okay. He goes, looks like you're okay. But then he goes over outside my house, breaks off a branch of one of our trees, right, and goes over and whips his son with his tree branch for what he did.
Oh my gosh! So, yeah, disciplining the kids. Kids don't get spanked no more, right?
Yeah, right. So that just kind of shows you the discipline was much stronger back in those days.
Yeah,
you didn't mess with your parents, and you didn't mess with your parents, any of your friends' parents, or everybody was Mr. and Mrs. and
right.
And it was fine. It was good.
Yeah, and I understand it's very cliche to get on a podcast and talk about, oh, your generation's so different than mine, but it's really night and day. Even differences between like me and Abby, who are like, like 4 or 5 years apart,
The nice thing though is the way I look at it is in the long run though, it's like I know a bunch of your friends. I know Shane and Robert and all these friends of yours, right? And I know them and I understand who they are, and it's like, and I like to know who your friends are, right? And not only yours, but the other kids, right? And so you get to know them, and as a parent, you want to know who the kids that your children are hanging out with, right? And you want to care about them, and you want to just know them and in a sense befriend them, watch how they're doing, and see how right. So you
hear that, guys? You made the cut.
I only mentioned
guys
2
and
of them,
girls,
but I do know some of those other ones.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Cool. So, what do you think that is the biggest difference in your life now versus when you were a kid? Like, what's the biggest difference, you think?
Like you're talking like culturally now versus culturally then?
No, just you as a person.
Oh, what's different about me?
Get a little bit more on the mic, Dad.
I would say,
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, like I said, first thing about, like these females that are around, and like I never talked to them, and so I was like,
oh, I love. Keep going, Dad. Keep going.
I would never talk to them. I would never talk to them when they were young, and then in high school I would see these pretty girls, but I wouldn't talk to them either. I mean, I would say hi, but that was about it. And it was really that way even in college.
Just continued.
And so for me, that's the way it was for many years. The interesting thing is when I became a believer, which was like when I was 23, a couple years after that, I think things changed for me because, I didn't do anything, nothing happened intentionally, but I was like, I think I just became a little bit more secure in maybe who I was.
Secure in yourself, yeah.
And I wasn't so much afraid to talk to girls, but it wasn't just girls. I think I was a little bit shy anyhow, and so all of a sudden,
which is very funny and really antithetical to who you are for the last 50 years.
Yeah, I can talk to almost
40.
My mother-in-law says my mother-in-law used to say to Jen, your husband can talk to anybody, and I can right now, and I understand that she says that, but it was about 24, 25 years old, like a year or two after I became a believer in Jesus, that I started
to calm down.
Something happened, and I was not afraid of talking to people, and I could talk to anybody, and I enjoy talking with people. So that would say is like the biggest change that happened to me.
Really? Huh.
Didn't know that, did you?
Well, no, it's good to hear a little bit more, add-ons to that. So, What was it like getting your first job?
What was it like getting my first job was working at a greenhouse.
Right.
I was 16 years old. I worked at a greenhouse, and so what did I do at the greenhouse job? What I did is I came in there every day after high school. So around. I would get out a little bit early, so I'd get there about 1 o'clock. I would go there.
That's pretty early for school.
Yeah, because I was a senior, or junior or senior, and then for me, when you were a junior and senior, I could get out early release if I was going to work. So I'd start at 7:30. Last class was at 12, something like that. And
cool.
So, and I lined up all my classes, got out. Anyhow, so I would go off to work, and the first thing I would do is I'd go in there and I would just I would go out there and I would just dig a whole bunch of dirt. So in other words, prepare all the dirt for the plants. And so I was out there with my shovel and, and just shoveling loam and shoveling sand and peat moss and mixing dirt and all. So just a grunt job. So I just did a grunt job for like 6 to 8 years. I did it from my junior year in high school to even a year or two after college. I did a little bit of it then. So it was just a job. It was owned by the company. The greenhouse was owned by one of my parents' friends, and so we like 4 or 5. My mother went there. My two of my other brothers went there. So
right, it was a family.
It was a family
yeah.
thing. So it was nice, and so we had some little bit of freedom there. But it was a grunt job, and I didn't really particularly like it. My brother Fred loved it because when I came in there, he didn't have to be the grunt anymore. I got to be the grunt.
Yeah, right.
He got to do the fun thing like building.
Shout out to Uncle Fred.
Yeah, Uncle Fred.
Declined being on this podcast, but understand.
Maybe he'll get back to you now that he'll give you his side of it.
Yeah, there we go. Ace man don't cry, right? I'm going to give you an apple pie.
Oh, I hated when he said that.
Yeah,
to me.
that just rang in your head.
Yeah.
That was during where he would like just trounce you in poker, right? Not a big poker player over here, guys.
He was just being a bigger brother that was just poking at me. He was a good big brother.
And you were number 5 out of 6 for people that don't know. So you were one of the. I'm 4 out of 5. So
yeah,
similar thing there. Also, when you were working at this greenhouse, did this plant your eventual love for like gardening and farming and stuff?
No,
because you got a little bit of a green thumb.
I do have a good green thumb, but to tell you the truth, I was out there like, in the middle, from about April till September. It is it's just hot there, and so one of my other grunt jobs is like, hey, go out and water these 10,000 plants.
Water them.
So I'm out there, I'm out there watering, and it's 120 degrees out because those greenhouses would be so hot.
Right, because they trap the heat, right?
They trap the heat, and
it's almost weird how it doesn't like make the plants die or whatever.
Well, you have to water. You have to water them every day, and if you don't water them, they die.
I remember back in the day when I was power washing, a couple times when we would be spraying the chemicals, we'd cover certain plants depending upon what was going on. But there was actually a couple rare instances where I would cover a plant, do all the washing and cleaning we would need to do, take off the tarp, and we wilted a couple of the flowers because of the heat.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing how fast
that works?
The heat is just tremendous.
It's like a microwave in there, I guess.
And I would walk out of there after 3-4 hours of work, and my feet, my socks, my pants, it was just soaked. And you just get used to being wet all the time.
From sweat.
No, from sweat, but also from like you're watering stuff, so you just get wet all the time.
Oh yes, and for blue sky too, like having wet jeans and wet socks and wet feet for the longest time.
It's just part of the job, right?
Awful. I didn't realize till I did that for 6 years. The last like 2 or 3, that's when I really started to be like, I can't handle wet feet anymore. Yeah, then I went over to FedEx and finally got.
You got cold feet instead of wet feet.
Yeah, exactly.
But those jobs are they I hate to say it, but they do build character, right? It's like you're doing
such a dad thing to say.
But the thing is, you gotta. Don't you think that it's like when you're doing a job that's like, hey, anybody.
Yeah, like mark a basket, right?
Yeah, anybody can do it.
Place.
Anybody can do it, right? And and you're getting paid squat, right? And
what was minimum wage when you were a kid?
But
you heard that they moved it up, minimum wage up to $17, I think, in California. It's almost $17.
Yeah. My first one was $2 an hour.
Wow, man, tough scene, man.
Well, it's a lot better than my paper route.
Scene. Yeah, tell us about your paper route real quick. Was that your first job?
I guess I didn't consider that a job. That was just like
a pastime.
We all did a paper route.
Were you throwing them?
We're all just doing it, right? And so, you just go around and you get up at 5:30 in the morning, and that's what I think ruined me. That's why you ask, why am I always up so early in the morning? Because I was doing my paper route since I was.
Now I get up as early as
9
you.
or 10, yeah. And just go out, and I had 40, 50 people to deliver papers to.
Oh, that's not bad.
I'd go out for probably an hour and a half. My dog would come with me to deliver all my papers.
That's awesome, man.
And then come back home.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
What type of dog was this? I forget.
Her name was Gypsy, and she was a half German Shepherd and a half German Shepherd and Collie combination.
Interesting.
So
was she big or?
No, she's about the size of our dog, which is about 55 pounds.
You don't really talk about her, so you must not have liked her that much.
No, she was a great dog. She would follow me. I just get on my little
That's
bike.
the dream. I told you, dude. One of my dreams. Sorry to interrupt, but is if I can go golfing and we bring the dog with us. Oh my God!
Yeah,
what a
golf courses.
That would be like if I have like one day to live.
The golf courses won't let you do it. That's the problem.
I know.
So
well. It's tough, man. It's tough the way it is. You mentioned your love of sports, man. So tell the people what your real top sports were. You listed all of them, but some people actually don't realize. You were a basketball coach for me.
Yeah.
we talk about our love for golf or whatever. We'll stick away from mostly golf because only a couple people will listen.
Yeah.
But
well, initially I loved playing baseball, so I played minor league baseball and
I hate
little
baseball.
league. Yeah, you do, but it was fun, and I played. Then I played in high school, and in Babe Ruth. So I was a good baseball player. Played on all-star teams on.
What position?
Like I played in little league. I played.
You weren't designated
I played
hitter?
every position except for catcher.
I couldn't see you pitching.
I only pitched one inning in my life, and I pitched it against the best athlete in my town, and I beat him.
Nice.
What an only time. So Mike McKevely,
calling him out by name.
Shout out to you because Mike was a great athlete. He was the coach. He was the starting quarterback at the University of Massachusetts at Amherst. Division 1A college player.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so that was baseball, and then I also played. I loved playing football, so I played. We had flag football, and then I played football in junior high. Went out for the high school team. I was out of shape, so I was like, it was too hard for me then. And then I played football. Actually,
out of shape, huh?
Yeah, I was about 20 pounds overweight, and it was just the practices were hard. I was just out of shape.
But when you were never that fat when you were a kid, right?
Yeah, like I said, like 20 pounds overweight, so not a lot, but
when you're sorry I failed you, man.
And then actually played at UMass. I played in my junior year. I played intramural football there. And that was great fun. And my neighborhood played football all the time, so played a lot of football. And then I played hockey, which I loved playing hockey. Started when I was 9 years old. I played from when I was 9 to 17, 18 years old. I played with bantams, midgets. So people who played in the hockey world would know those teams. They're like 12, 13, 14,
like farm
15.
teams you're talking about, like the Monarchs to the
It's
things?
like the leagues that they have now today in the basketball, the travel leagues.
Yes.
Travel leagues, but they're age related. So
they're called midgets?
12 and 13-year-olders was bantams.
Okay.
Excuse me. 14 to 15 was midgets. And so I played on midgets team, and then I played high school, and I played junior and senior year in high school. Our town started teams, and so I was on that team. I was one of the players there, so I did pretty well there.
Nice, man.
So I loved hockey, and
get to the real one.
I played basketball too, but I was never. It was like hockey was before basketball, so they're same time, same season. So basketball was like on the side, but I played it. I liked it. But I liked hockey more, so I didn't play as much, and then. And then what happened is the tennis boom hit in around 1970.
What made that happen?
Yeah, because you had people. I think television started showing it more on TV.
Right, because the TV came around between the 60s and 70s.
Yeah,
I remember covering it around when we were doing the JFK assassination. That was the whole thing about Vietnam. You could see it on TV, all that jazz.
Right. So this is probably 10 years later, right? But
yeah.
But they also had people like Jimmy Connors. And so he was a big tennis player, and he was a very energetic and a very good player. And the people just they saw it on TV, and everybody started playing. So much so that you'd go out to the like in our town, we had 6 courts. You'd go there, and you had to wait an hour to get on the court. That's how popular it was.
It's like with basketball. I hate doing that.
Yeah, and so it was just. But I fell in love with it, and I started playing, and I had another kid in town who was a very good athlete. He was a hockey player like me, and a good baseball player, and so we both started playing tennis, and so we started again like probably 7th, 8th grade, and him a year before me. And so by the time, so we had been playing and started playing, and of course started getting better like everybody does. And our town started our high school started a high school tennis team. And so it was my senior year, his junior year. And so we went off and we grabbed a few other guys and we had a team and we did half decent. And
nice.
but I started competing against other people, and it's like, and I just got a bug for it, and I played as much as I could. I would play, like starting like probably sophomore, junior year in high school. I would play in the summertime. I would work, but I'd get half a day off sometimes. But I was playing 2 to 4 hours a day.
Yeah, that's crazy.
For probably 6 years.
Yeah, that'll get you really, really good. I even remember I think for me, and it's like, totally pales in comparison because it's, private school basketball. But when I started playing at the Y for like a summer, I got so much better.
Oh, I remember.
But that's like you're doing that like 4 times.
Yeah, you're playing
twice the amount at least.
I was playing every day, for hours, and I had a guy who loved to drill. Sometimes you hate doing drills. This guy loved doing drills.
Yeah.
And I like doing drills, but I like playing too. But anyhow, we
like
just
golf.
drilled
Who
and
wants
drilled.
To drill? Who wants to go to the range?
Like you hit 100 forehands, then you hit 100 backhands, and then you hit 100 balls at net, then you hit 100 overheads, then you hit 100 serves, right? And then we do cross, my forehand to his back to my forehand, right? It was just an hour and a half of practicing, and then we'd go play for an hour.
Yeah.
And we did it every
Serious
day.
stuff.
And we did this every day, and then he did it after I'd go to work. He'd go do it again with somebody else. So he was he was playing 4 to 6 hours. This guy ended up becoming like number 1 or 2 player in New England, and he tried to make it on the pro tour, and he ended up used to practice with the number 5 player in the world. That's how good he was. So anyhow,
one of your good friends.
One of my good friends, still good friends with him. But it all comes down to if you play a lot and you're devoted to it, you just get better. And I just got better and better and better. But you got, we started when we're whatever, 12, 11, something like that. If you want to be that good, you got to start 4 or 5, and so we were 5, 6 years behind the curve.
Absolutely, man.
I still loved it. I love playing in college. I played for a community college my freshman year. I played for a state college the second year. And my third and fourth years, I played at University of Massachusetts. Made the team.
UMass Lowell, right? Yeah.
Yeah. This is at UMass in Amherst.
Oh, Amherst, right. Yeah.
Right, and I went out my junior year. I was made the team, but they found out that I had played my previous year, which is at a Division II school, so they redshirted me, so I couldn't actually play, even though I looked like I had just made the team. So they said, come back next year and try out again. So I came back the next year and I made the team, and I played on there. And
I remember, yeah, nice.
And we went around and played all the big schools, so we're playing teams like BC, BU, UNH. Went down to Yale and played the New England tournament down at the Yale Bowl, stuff like that. So it's seeing all the top players, and these are people who had played at some of them had played at Wimbledon and stuff like that. So it was
it's interesting that your main thing was tennis and arguably hockey, throwing maybe baseball too, because people know you for more like golf and basketball.
I know,
but hey, like I said, it all builds off one.
Yes.
Off another.
Yeah, they're all like hand-eye coordination, right? So
it's interesting because I remember you saying there was a story way back in my childhood. I remember hearing that you were once doing, you were playing a match, and someone said to mom they were commenting on your body type, this person shouldn't be playing tennis because obviously you were probably 200 pounds, ripped muscle at the time.
Yeah, they say you should be playing football. You should be a middle linebacker or something.
Yeah, it's that. That's the thing. Tennis and golf, there's still so much arrogance and haughtiness. And people can go kick rocks with that stuff.
Well, the funny is
changing.
The story you had said about that, about people saying what I looked like, right? Mom was watching me play at that particular time. And because I was a little bit older, and I was still playing a little bit of tournaments, so I was probably 30 or something like that. And these people are saying these things, and Mom's just looking over them and these people are just arrogant, privileged people, right? And tennis typically was that. It was people of privilege, right? So me and my friend, we're just we're from lower middle class families,
tearing it up,
and we're up there with our T-shirts and and whatever one pair of tennis shorts that we had. And these other people are wearing these incredible nice sweatsuits and
but you're hanging with them or you're kicking ass, right?
Yeah, people used to laugh at my wood rackets, and but I love my wood rackets, and they're all playing.
I remember you saying
they're playing with these $200 metal rackets, and
$200 back then.
Back then,
that's nuts.
They were anyhow.
Yeah, so moving on a little bit, you mentioned mom. So what was it like meeting mom?
What was it like meeting mom?
Because mom also was an athlete. Shout out to you, mom. She was a good ball player and stuff. Probably could have played college if she wanted to, but didn't work out that way.
She couldn't play college because she blew her knee out.
Yeah, thanks for the damaged knees.
Yeah,
that's like a Sontag genetic thing.
Your mom was like, she could shoot lights out. She, I tried to play horse.
There was a 3-point
I tried to
line.
play horse with her, and she'd
kill you.
She'd destroy me.
She still kind of got it a little bit.
She's got such a smooth shot.
Yeah.
So, I met her mostly. I mean, I saw her at church, but I really got to know her because she was friends with my brother Paul's wife Joan Sontag, and they were both nurses, and so they would come over and meet once in a while, and so I would see her there, and so I would start to get to know her a little bit from there, and so I started thinking like, okay, how do I see if this person who's attracted to this person, but she's like very down to earth. She loves. It seems like she likes family, and she's a jock. You know what I mean?
What?
She's a jock.
Oh, mom's a jock.
Like me. Like, and I'm like, I kind of relate to this type of person.
Yeah, because also mom was super good at skiing.
She was good at everything. She was good at skiing. She was good
and
at...
You skied. You were pretty... That's another thing, because with your hockey stuff, you know how to skate like nobody's business, too.
But it's a little different than skiing. So I'm like, okay, what's this girl like?
True. I can't do either.
How can I tell if I'm going to like this girl or not? So I'm like, I know what I'll do. I'm going to go see if she likes this. I'll go skiing with her. So I went skiing with her and her mom for 3 months to see, like, just kind of interact with them. And so we went skiing like 7 or 8 times.
Did mom have an idea that you were trying to feel her out?
Probably.
So mom didn't play hard to get. That's the thing. Like back in the days, like you're not going to have, it's interesting through whatever social media and other like trends and whatnot. People look at dating like totally different now. It's about like how do I like impress, or these words like that you would never know, like riz or whatever that I don't even use, short for charisma and whatnot. But it's funny how, once again, it's just totally different the way that, because you almost like now if you try to go ask out a girl, it's like there's like this thing.
Yeah. How much money you make?
Are you 6 foot, six figures or six?
Yeah. What kind of car you drive?
Something else. Yeah. So interesting. So, but mom's pretty straightforward, and that just kind of happened naturally, right? And when you met mom, you were actually a farmer, right, at Uncle Paul's? Right.
By that time, I had stopped that, and I'd stopped farming, and so I got out of college. I got a high-tech job for about 6 months and got laid off. And then at that point, I'm 20. So now I'm 22, and my brother Paul was out in Arizona. He had become a believer, and he invited me up to his place in New Hampshire, and so to do a little bit of farming together. So we started a farm together, and so I did that for 2 years with him up in that time. He had hurt his back, so he was really unable to keep doing the farm, so he had to give that up. So he moved down into the Milford area, and when I was up and I was deciding what to do, and someone invited me to become part of a place called His Mansion. It's a ministry up in Deering, New Hampshire, which is right next to Hillsborough. Yep. And they're on a 400-acre farm up there. It's up on top of a mountain. And it's a ministry that ministers to guys and girls from, at that time it was ages 17 to 30. So it got both guys and girls. And so there was about 20, maybe 25 of these guys and girls there. And so they asked me to come up and do work with the guys. And so they had this 400-acre place, and so I would go off and cut wood. And so I'd take a crew of like 6, 7, 8, sometimes 10 guys out during the day. I'd be cutting down these trees, chopping them, cutting in the 4-foot lengths, and then the guys would come behind me and stack them up in the woods, and we'd just do that all winter long. And in the springtime, we'd pick up some old ratty truck, drive to the woods, put all the wood up, bring it to some landing, cut it up into the right size length, split it, and then deliver it to all the cabins.
And was this the time where it was minimal deodorant, short shorts, no pink wearing times?
I didn't have my shorts. My short shorts were back in my college days, actually.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, my it's like my girls always were saying, Dad, that's obscene what you were wearing there.
Yeah.
But in my day,
that's what was trendy.
That's what was trending. The shorts were like, they were pretty short. And I saw a picture of one of them. I'm like, yeah, those are pretty shorts. But I didn't think of them as short back then because that's what everybody was wearing.
Right. Right. Now it's kind of interesting. Depending upon the sport or whatever, people will wear whatever. I mean, super baggy is kind of weird now. But even some basketball players will wear super short shorts. I'm like, I don't know what they're doing. What is some advice that you would give to your 25-year-old self?
To my 25-year-old self then, you mean?
Yeah. Well, you now telling yourself.
What would I tell myself? I was a person at 25 years old who was like, I had just become a believer and I had found the truth, but I don't think I had a real good understanding of the love of God. And I was a person who was trying to do all the right things and but probably I was not very free in my insides. And so it's like, somehow somehow I would tell myself, you got to relax some more, just kind of understand who you are a little bit more and be a more joyful person and relax more.
Yeah. Yes, it doesn't need to be the super deep thing sometimes when that question gets asked to people. That was a great answer, obviously, but sometimes it's like, don't panic as much.
Don't panic.
That's the thing I'm trying to tell myself with where I'm at in life. Like,
it's true.
Try not to panic, but I'm like, it's hard for me to think about that. Having, an anxiety attack seems every other day. A little hyperbolic statement, but you catch it.
No, I love that what you're saying because I think it's good to, for me to say that to you, you to say that to me, and having friends that we can say this to, it's like
totally, totally, man. So, anything else you want to say on your wife? Because I guess you kind of know her pretty well.
I think my wife. First of all, I love my wife. I think she's the greatest. Best decision I could have made in my life.
Nice.
She is an extremely gracious person.
Yeah.
And I learned so much how to be gracious. I can be judgmental or
I'm not patient either.
Or
I'm like
certainly not patient. Certainly not patient. And but I'm quick to I could be quick to hop on people, and she's just not that way, and it's like she's taught me so much how to just by watching her, you know what I mean? Just like watching her, how she's gracious. It's like there's something to be said for being gracious instead of being a jerk sometimes,
there's some people that learn to be gracious, but people that are naturally that way is very very envious. I'm very envious of them.
Yeah, so I think you can never be too gracious.
And really quickly too, you mentioned your faith and whatnot. You came out of the Catholic Church, actually.
I did come out of the Catholic Church, and so for me, I would say back in those days, I was like, when I finally came to believing, it was like I was somewhat against the Catholic Church at that time because I feel like there was all this religion, but there was never an invitation. I didn't know who Jesus was. Right, I didn't know that he was a savior. I saw this cross and everything, but I didn't know that he was the one. It was Jesus who came to die for me, right? And so how did I not hear that? I don't know. I was blind, really. And you have to. Every person has to become enlightened, and so anyhow, when I became a believer, it's like, okay, I believe now. And I was like, the Catholic Church, it was like, had all these rules and regulations. And so I was so much against that. And so over the years, I'm not against the Catholic Church at all, actually, because I do believe there's believers in there.
But that was your experience.
But that was my experience at the moment, and so because when I became a believer, it's like I found the thing that was missing. I found the thing that was missing, and when I started reading the Bible, and I'm like, oh, who is this Jesus? This is amazing. And then I read the book of Galatians, which I call the book of freedom, and it's the book of Galatians all about getting away from legalism, following all the rules, and coming into a relationship with God. And so that was the most freeing book, and it still is. And I still have to read it because I can still fall into legalism. But that's what really helps me see that.
I got Galatians 2:20.
There you go. I love it, man.
I mean,
I am
but
crucified with Christ. It's no longer I who live, but Christ who
right.
lives in me. And the life I live now, I live by faith in the Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me. I do not set aside the grace of God, because if righteousness could be gained through the law, Christ died for nothing.
Come on.
Right. So that's my experience.
Love it, man.
So.
Love it. Cool. So transitioning into this is when we'll start to get fun. So, what was it like? So you have you're a dad with 5 kids. So we're jumping in here. First question I'm going to give you. What were you prepared to be a dad? Did you always want to have kids?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I remember. I don't know when I thought about that, but I remember when I was dating, when I finally did ask Jen out, and I'm like, okay, I needed to ask her about kids. Like, I want to, if I'm going to date this girl, I got to see where she's coming from. So I remember I was driving on the highway somewhere. I'm like, how do I do this? And finally I just blurted out, children. And she goes, you want them now?
That's how it worked out. Wow, Dad.
It's like, no. What do you think about children? I'm trying to see if.
And Mom, in her graciousness, responded.
Yeah, she was great.
Yeah, well.
She wanted a big family. I wanted a big family.
Yeah, how many kids did you want to have?
We both wanted to have 6. And so we only had 5.
Oh. Well, you wanted to stop after you had 3 girls. You didn't want to have me.
No, I wanted to have a boy. I wanted a boy.
Then you had 3 girls.
And we had 3 girls, and when they were like, okay, we got to have you. And I think when you were about to be born, I said, Jen, you've thought that we were going to have a boy.
Yeah, well,
since the very first one.
Tell the people. Tell your camera.
And so it's like, okay, so Jen, you know what happens when someone in the Old Testament would prophesy and it didn't come true, right? Meaning they get stoned. It's like, is this going to come true or what? I'm joking with her, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
And so the 4th one, finally, the boy, Ben, which is my son of my right hand, Benjamin, that's what that means, right? And so you were finally born. And so we had 4, and so that was, that was a lot. And, but for those maybe who haven't heard, so my oldest daughter, Stephanie, who's a great kid, but she's has some special needs, and fairly serious special needs, especially at the beginning and at different times in her life. Yeah,
you didn't know until like age 2, right?
Probably, yeah, maybe 3 or 4 even. So that was extremely difficult, right? And so it was a bunch of hard years there, and then finally got through it. And then she had another tough time at 6 and another tough time at 15. And so, after you were born, like a couple of years after that, so I don't know what that age difference is, but Jen was asking me, felt like the Lord wanted us to have one more child. And I'm like, really? And then she explained the scripture to me about where what she heard. And I'm like, I took a deep breath. I'm like, okay. And so I'm glad we have Abby, our 5th child, but
Buzz Lightyear / Goliath. That's what I wanted to call her.
I remember that, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm disappointed that we didn't get your
I thought long and hard about those names too. Goliath is kind of cool though.
Should we tell them a story about Goliath, how you'd be walking our house going boom boom, you'd be stamping your feet, boom boom, Goliath, boom boom.
I'd be doing that?
Yeah, you were one of the ones doing that. Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Anyhow.
So who's your favorite kid?
You think that's going to work here?
Yeah.
All 5 of them. But I'll tell you one thing, you're my favorite boy.
I'm your only.
Oh, yes, that's true.
Guys, to expose myself, if you, hopefully maybe she brought it up on the podcast I did with her, but I am literally listed as fave boy in my mom's contacts. Go figure. But no. Would you consider me a mama's boy?
No.
Okay. Oh. Love you, Mom, but Dad cleared the air. How are me and you alike? And how are we different?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think you have a love of sports just like I do. I think
not nearly as skillful as you, though. I didn't pick it up. You didn't pick it up early enough.
You have a better basketball game inside than I do, Ben. So, anyhow.
Yeah.
You just didn't play the other sports like I did. I think you're a really hard worker, right? You are. It
doesn't go anywhere, though. It's not. I haven't built a career yet at 27.
Yeah, but I'm talking about you as a character. Your character is you're a hard worker, right? So there are some guys who aren't hard workers, right? You're a hard worker. So I appreciate
Thank you.
that.
I'll take that compliment. Wear it proudly.
How else are we alike? I think
both impatient.
Well, we both
and not gracious.
We both like to talk. We're both very sociable. We can talk to pretty much anybody. So I think that's another thing that I see that we're similar alike. Certainly, we have lots of conversations about faith. And we love
verbal processors.
We let you. Yeah. Well, I think you're more of a verbal processor than me. We both love golf now.
We're addicted.
We both love to do. Yeah,
I promise that we can go if I don't do the Florida golf trip, we can do the Cape Cod one. I just need to take a day off. Oh, really, man? Like, we can make it happen. Like, seriously, you need to book the date.
All right,
and I'll come.
All right,
promise.
So
how are we different?
How are we different?
I can list a lot of things actually.
Yeah, I mean, so what do you think?
Because like. I feel like I'm very, what's the word, free spirit, where I have tattoos, and I'm into writing music here and there, and like I have a podcast, and you're more analytical, like you're good at math. I wasn't good at school. You're good at computers and electronics. I'm really not.
But I love music, actually. I'm just not particularly good at it.
I just meant like playing music.
Yeah, but I mean, I try
you
playing...
You can do piano, though.
I try the piano because I have a love for music, but I'm just not good at it. You have so much... You just pick it up so much quicker than I do. It's like...
Piano would be hard, though, but I think piano is the best instrument to ever play.
It's just, certain... I remember trying, I spent, when I was, 25 or something, 26, I tried to play piano, and there was a guy at Light of the World his name was Ernie Archambault, and he would try to teach me the guitar for 3-4 months. I just couldn't get it. He'd do these strumming... I couldn't do the strumming thing.
Yeah.
And I could never get it down, and it just... we'd all have certain things that we're good at and other things we're not good at,
Yeah, that's fair.
So,
that's fair. What was a time where you completely wasted money? Which I know is rare for you. Oh, you're good with money. I'm not. You're a saver. I'm a spender. Well, not spender. I just can't get my crap together.
I don't think I've ever been spent. The only thing I would say, the only thing I can ever remember is when Jen and I got married. I'm like, hey, what do you want to do? She didn't have much money. I had been now in my career longer than she had because I'm 5.5 years older than her. So I had some money. So I'm like, we're trying to go. We were going to go on our honeymoon somewhere locally in New England and everything else. So I'm like, wait a minute, I got some money in the bank. Let's go to Hawaii for our honeymoon.
Nice.
So we went to Hawaii for 9 days, down to Maui and Kauai Islands, and so we did that for 9 days. And I did it. And I had the money, so.
And then that's where she found out you went by Richie back in the day. Tell that story really quickly.
Oh man. Oh, so my nickname growing up is Dickie.
Yeah.
Everybody calls me Dickie.
Dickie.
My closest friend's Dickie.
Hey, Dickie.
So so everybody knows me as that, and then. When I get in high school, I don't know, whenever, high school or college, I'm like, I'm Dick, right? So, everybody uses Dick half the time to
describe other parts of the body.
Describe other parts of the body or describe a person, you're...
Yeah, stick in the mud.
Yeah. So anyhow, I'm like, okay, I'm going to college. I'm away at college. I'm like, someone asks, what's your name? I'm like, I'm Rich. And so I was like, but it became a problem because there were people in college who knew me as Dick or Dickie, you know, and not, and so Anyhow, so I had a few friends that called on the tennis team. They all knew me as Rich, right? And so, and on my floor in college, my senior year, I was there, right? And now all of a sudden, I'm starting to get to know people. So, and it was a co-ed floor. So some of the girls there knew me as Rich.
Yeah.
Right? And so there was one girl was on my floor. I knew her. And so here I am now, 9 years later, I'm on my honeymoon. I'm in Hawaii. I'm at this restaurant, and this girl, blonde-haired girl, walks up to me and goes, "Rich, is that you?" and the girl was this girl on my floor, and I thought she was one of those pretty girls. But like I said, this girl probably liked me. I liked her, but
You didn't do anything about it?
I couldn't ask her out. I tried to. I went to her house and visited her one time, and she lived out in the western part of the state. I'm like, I went there, we played tennis. I'm like, we're sitting down together talking. I'm like, I should ask this girl out. I'm like, hey, I can't ask her out. I'm too afraid to ask her out. So anyhow, here we are out in Hawaii, and this girl says, "Rich, is that you?" And Jen looks at me and goes, "Rich? Who's that?"
Mom's not like that at all. Which is the funny part. So, man, I'm
like, what? You know, all of a sudden I'm tongue-tied.
It was too good to pass up that little story.
Yeah.
What's your favorite memory of being a dad?
Oh, I think like when you guys were born, it was just holding you guys for the first time was just kind of amazing. And many times I would have you sleep on my chest, and it was just I loved it when you sleep on my chest. I love that, and you know, I guess I don't know if I could say anything more than that, but it's such a life altering thing, because once your kids are born, it's like you do anything for them.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the way I felt for every one of you guys. That's the way I still feel that way.
Yeah. I hate to ruin this lovely story with a funny thing, but when you said do anything with them, I remember times where I would be sick or whatever, and it'd be like late at night, and you'd be like, I had to throw up or whatever. You're like, Ben, don't throw up on the carpet. Throw up here. It's like, wow, you really meant it. You really meant it. So now I have a couple interesting, funny things, because everyone knows, like, with a family, you had 4 girls and 1 boy. So it's kind of like our family's been like pretty hectic and up and down over the years, just because there's so many different personalities and things going on. And so I'm gonna throw some different things at you, and this would be most likely to fill in the blank. Ready? So I've got like 6 or 7 for you. Who is the most likely to eat all the leftovers after dinner?
You.
Me. Yeah, that's fair. Who is most likely to sing off key?
Ooh, to sing. Well, Steph, obviously.
That's true. Her heart's there. Would you have a runner-up?
Oh, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Well, it's probably a tie between you and Bethany.
Me? Really? Singing off key?
Well, when you go, yeah, sometimes you go real loud, and you didn't get you didn't always hold a tune till you're about 18.
Oh, so this is like before I learned how to sing or whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Awesome. I'll take that L gladly. Who's the most likely to get lost easily?
Your mother.
Oh, my God. So true.
She's going to kill me for that, but
really?
But she knows it's true.
Why do you think?
She just I love her dearly, you know.
She's really a person that like stop and smell the roses, right?
She is, but
literally.
She just for some reason she just doesn't have a great sense of direction. But who cares? You got GPSs now, you know.
Oh my gosh. Well, even back in the day, once again, talking about when I was young and little, I remember map questing, but before ever doing Siri and
I think Bethany would probably be the second one to get lost as well.
Who do you think's the worst driver?
Who's the worst driver?
This is
me. I'm the worst driver.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. How self-aware of you.
I get distracted.
You know what? I might put Abby at 2, though. Yeah. Abby's got a little erratic. Well, I don't know. No, because Abby can navigate like some tough spots, but Mariah's pedal to the metal.
Yeah, you know what it is about Mariah?
Bethany, she rides people's bumpers, right?
Oh, she was terrible. Get you sick. You know what I mean? Jeez. But Mariah, she just go zooming by, and she'd be always too close to the right side of the road for quite a long time. And so it used to I tried to get her attention, so I'd stick my hand out the passenger side door, and I'd just be ripping leaves off of the trees. And I would show them to him, like, meaning like, you're a little too close to this side, and she would get mad at me. I'm like, hey.
Do you think I'm the best driver in the family?
I think you're a pretty good driver, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'm like the stellar person at all, but ever since the accident, I go like 75 on the highway. Maybe 80 if I'm passing somebody. Yeah. And for like, FedEx, it was here and there, like it was slightly they had the cameras, and for Amazon a little bit too, but for they're especially like pretty anal about like going like 4 over. For FedEx, it was like go, you just don't go over 10.
Yeah.
But for this one, but actually right now I'm in the upper 15 drivers. I'm like number 4.
Nice.
But I've only been there for so long, so we'll see.
Not surprised. That's good.
Who's the most likely to cry over a movie?
Me.
Yeah. You're crying over a book at Christmas.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
Who's the most likely to get in a car accident? So before you give this answer, obviously I got in a car accident, but a couple other of us.
Yeah, but your car accident was so far away from your fault being your fault. That doesn't really count. Who's most likely to get into a car accident? Probably Mariah.
Really?
I mean, she's a very good driver, but she's
she is. She's just
fast,
headstrong.
she's just fast.
Gas pedal.
No, brake. Put your foot in the brake.
Who's the most likely to blame someone else?
Oh,
this could be anyone. Really.
Every one of the children.
You guys should have seen our Monopoly.
Oh, but I would like okay. I remember when I okay, hey guys, there's no toilet paper in the bathroom. Who used up the last toilet paper and didn't replace it? Nothing. Nobody says anything. I'm like, who did it?
And that's rare for us to not say something.
Oh, yeah. You guys are all playing something. I don't know. Maybe you're all guilty. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Who's the most likely to burn water?
I don't know. Is it you or Abby?
That's the thing I just don't understand, because like we'll have these times where I won't name names if they're listening, but where people will like make dinner, and to be fair, they're making more like coordinated, complex, like fancier dishes.
Yeah.
But it's like whenever this like certain people in the house make meals, like there's so much stress and so snappy. I can't even like go into the fridge while they're in the kitchen. Get out of my space. I'm like, there's so much stress. Why do you even want to do this?
And you and I can commiserate on that, because for 36 years of marriage, I've heard the same thing. Get out of my kitchen.
Oh man, that's so funny.
My wife would say that all the time, and you know what I would say? Sure. You make great food, so I'm getting out.
Yeah, that's fair, man. So this is my last or one. Well, actually, I'll go to rapid fire. Another section of rapid fire later. But who's the most likely to forget to feed Nike?
I don't know. I think that would be Abby.
So true.
Abby doesn't have a lot of good feelings for Nike these days.
Yeah, I know. It's a little up in the air, right? So what? Am I
going to get in trouble? Are they going to be listening to these?
No, we'll see. We'll see how it is. So, what is the biggest lie about adulthood?
That it's better than being a teenager. I don't think it is. We have such freedom when we're teenagers, and it feels like we're fighting
teenager
against...
with a car. Imagine that.
Jeez. I just think, we always thinking, I can't wait to get a little older, I get a little more freedom. But you really have so much freedom when you're a teenager, and so when you get older, you get so much responsibilities that you don't have that freedom anymore. So it's, yeah.
What is some advice you would never give someone?
What is some advice I would never give somebody? Who to marry?
Yeah. That's fair. That's a pretty big one, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a huge one.
When did you start realizing you didn't understand the slang of the youth or the slang of the generation after you? I won't say out of touch, but
no, it's true.
when did you start to realizing the gaping chasm of generations?
Yeah, probably about 20 years ago, maybe.
Because a couple times you say, like, that's lit or that's fire. I remember you saying that.
Well, I hear you say it all the time, so I'm like, okay, it's fire. But I never particularly wanted to be up on the lingo that much, other than the fact that I like your friends and stuff. So
yeah. What's a trend that's happening now that you don't understand? Could be something.
Here's a trend that we have. The trend, and this has been going on for about 10 years now, and that is that I would say, in particular, our politicians. But why I don't understand why people who are professionals, supposedly, why on the Democratic and Republican side, why the two sides yell at each other. They don't talk to one another. They just yell at each other. Yeah. They criticize. They say comments about the other, cutting comments. And it's like, I want to just say, stop it. You're grown men. Talk to one another. Don't be disrespectful. Ask questions. Ask to clarify these situations. Why do you feel the way you feel? Give me examples, right? All they do is just, they spout their side of the thing on the right, or they spout their side on the left, and they don't listen to one another. They don't even want to talk to one another, and it's disgusting to me.
Yeah, I do really believe that. I think Trump is a bigger catalyst for that type of behavior, I would say, in politics, because it's just super, he's always known as like the people's president, I suppose, or so.
Oh
so
no, he's very.
But it's just the way that he talks about even the stuff that, like, I was looking at, like I said, I'm starting to build like a case for, a podcast that I was mentioning to you the other day, and it's just amazing how much of the just name calling and specific targeting there is political targeting.
I would say Trump is certainly he just made it worse. By the way he speaks about people and stuff, and
he's just the highlight of the actual underlying problem.
But
right?
the problem was like,
you didn't see Obama doing that. You didn't see Bush doing that.
But it started happening. You didn't see those presidents doing it, but certainly he's the first president that was kind of like that. But Bush and Biden and Trump kind of went back and forth.
Well,
like
Trump,
that.
Hillary. Yeah, really is probably.
Yeah, Hillary.
You should be in prison.
Hillary and Trump started it, right? And so I think that there was. I think that for me, it's like I feel like maybe the left has been. They weren't really very open to things, and they would be spouting off their things, and then I'm not in the right.
Republicans would just walk on people.
Yeah. And so it's just gotten worse the last 10 years, and it's
and social media just
sides.
highlights the fringes.
Yeah, it's just
highlights the fringes.
Come on, it's like we're adults. Let's work together.
Yeah.
Right. Don't be left. Don't be right. Just you're Americans. Let's try to do what's best.
Be independents. Be centrists. That's what I'm going to become. So when did you realize time was flying so fast?
Yeah, that's a good question, Ben.
I think I threw this to you the other day in prep for this.
Yeah.
Would you believe we're an hour and 10 minutes in?
Are we really?
You're doing good.
I would say maybe 15 years ago, when I was probably around 50, I started it's like, oh my goodness, I got 5 kids, and one's off in college, and already gone, and it's like, this is kind of going too fast. And I don't like the fact that all my kids aren't in my house, and I'm looking at them and watching out for them, and so
I'm trying to become independent. We're getting there. It's just taking a while.
You work, come back, and it's not uncommon these days for that to happen. So
because it's just the average house now, I think, is $400K or something like that, or over 300.
It's probably more than that, actually, where we are.
Yeah. What's the best financial decision you ever made?
what's the best financial decision I ever made? I'd say there's a couple of different ones. Like for me and Mom, she grew up in. I mean, neither one of us grew up very rich, and so when we got married, though, there was a guy named Mark Williams who showed me how to keep a budget. And so when we got married, I was saying, hey, Jen, let's have a budget together. Let's do a budget book together. Let's have one checkbook. We share that together. And I asked her if she would be willing to do that. And she was very much willing to do that. And so I would say that was a great thing that we did together that kind of helped us do stuff together and be on the same page. So I would say financially that was one of the things that we did. I would say we just put money aside like in our 401k. Sometimes it was tough because we had 5 kids and we didn't really have a lot. But we trust.
And we all went to public school. Private school instead of public school.
Right. So that was really...
Which was crazy expensive.
But I believe that the Lord kind of helped us, right? And so one of my first companies that I worked for, it went public. And after I was around 38, I think, I'm guessing, somewhere around there. And so when it went public, I made like $90,000, which was a lot of money back then.
I literally kill someone to make that money. I'd kill them right now.
But after taxes, I saw $60,000. And so I had $60,000 of money in my pocket. I'm like,
death and taxes.
I'm like, you know what? I have my house. I have a mortgage on it. I have $50,000 mortgage on my house right now. I took that $60,000 that I had, and I took $50,000 of it, and I just paid off my mortgage. Gone. My mortgage.
How did that feel?
It felt like, okay, now I think I can do it, because what was going on was you guys are starting to go into private school. I was like, how are we going to be able to pay for this?
Right, and it wasn't NCAA like year.
Yeah, so, it was a lot.
I can mute it if you want.
So I so that really helped, right? So now, because with that gone, and I don't have a mortgage, now we had some money together. We were able to send their kids to school. We wanted the private school. We wanted it for people. I do it for like four different reasons. One, it was smaller classrooms. I think when you're in smaller classrooms, it's easier to learn. It was
for me, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is for most people. The thing, it was a safe environment. We knew who you were with. We knew the teachers and everything else, and it was great, right? There wasn't a lot of drugs and sex and all this stuff that was going on in these. Not that they weren't. They didn't.
That basically wasn't happening.
It didn't happen for the most part, right? And whereas in the public schools, I grew up in the public schools. I know what was going on in the public schools. I went to the public schools, and then also I wanted to be able to have at least a Christian mind worldview at least at some point. And so for those reasons is why we wanted you to go off to private school.
Gotcha. Do you have any regrets?
Lots of regrets, actually.
Anything you want to highlight, or keep it at that?
What do I want to highlight? Yeah, I mean, there's some ones that are kind of painful, actually, and but they've been kind of resolved for the most part, and and so but sometimes things get resolved, but not all the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so there's still a little bit ongoing, and I think if anything, I guess I would be more when there's conflict, I would be more proactive in trying to find ways to resolving conflict. Sometimes I can resolve it. I don't see, there's a problem here. I don't know how to resolve this. What am I going to do? And it's probably best to ask somebody, get some other viewpoint, ask other people to come in and give some insight into the issue.
Absolutely, man. Great answer. What is your definition of success?
What's my definition of success? I'll tell you one thing. It's not making a lot of money and having a career. That, to me, is the furthest thing away from being successful. Successful, to me, is a person who loves well, loves their family well, who loves others well, and not only believers, but just as much believers as unbelievers, loving them well, loving our neighbors, caring about our neighbors, right? Family members, just loving well, and that because and based out of my faith, right? Based out of my faith, right? Because that's what the Lord wants us to do, and so, yeah.
Cool. Just a couple more. What do you want to be remembered for?
What do I want to be remembered for? Sometimes I don't like that question because it's like sometimes I get too caught up in who I am and what people think about me and everything else. And so lately I've been trying to avoid that question because I feel like I have a problem trying to like look good in everybody's eyes. You know what I'm saying? And so I've been trying to stay away from that question, but, having said that, I want to make sure my wife knows that I love her. She's the most important person in the world for me. I want my kids to know that I love them, and there is nothing else that's more important than them. So that's kind of like primary things, and then it moves down to my siblings and then my close other friends.
Cool. All right, man. So we're going to end on rapid fire, which will be a fun thing to end on.
Uh-oh.
I just wanted to say really quickly, thank you for coming on once again. It's great. I wanted to maybe at some point, I wanted to ask about, we didn't really talk about it and stuff, but we've kind of, through my own life and through your stuff, we've had to navigate through some really tough times, like regarding church and church relationships and whatever.
We have.
And, at times too, even though you were mentioning about how things feel resolved about certain aspects of, parts of your life and stuff that I've gone through, you wish things could be more. You think about Christianity and your faith, it's all about reconciliation and redemption and forgiveness. And on this side of it, sometimes you don't really get it. But I just wanted to say, too, if I've never mentioned this to you, well, I must have mentioned it to you, but I remember when you were going through this hard time with basically where there was essentially almost a church split happening. And at the time, you had to go so much back to the basics because life was, at times people could say your reputation was on the line or this was ending or, just a lot of, unnecessary drama at the time. I remember each day you would wake up and you would go through these and you made these note cards, right?
Index cards.
About that, or index cards, right? Where one was, I'm a conquering co-heir with Christ.
Yeah.
I am
loved by the Father.
Yeah.
I am, what is it? Ephesians 1:6, right? I am God's beloved, right?
Right.
I am. How does it? That scripture. Anyhow, I am the beloved of the Lord's, right?
Oh yes.
Right. So.
So I just wanted to say, man, like that will be one of my biggest memories of you always, because I remember being 63 and still going through like the basics.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, Christianity, your faith is all about. Your faith grows because you have all these things thrown at you and stuff. I feel like I've had a lot thrown at me for my faith journey.
Yeah.
Like way too much more to handle. I always think of the term where people say, oh, God gives his toughest battles to his hardest soldiers. I'm like, I don't even feel like I'm a soldier anymore. With everything that's happened, I just feel like, someone who's on the wayside or whatever. But I want to say it was super inspiring, man. I always look up to that part of you, and that'll always be part of your legacy in my life.
It's interesting you say that because it's like I need to get back to like the very basics in order to get through life for first a year there, and I had to get, who am I? Who am I in Christ? What's my identity? What's my security? What's my purpose?
People that don't really talk about this, I wonder sometimes, like, and this is where I'm trying to, toe the line of like, don't be judgmental, but I'm like, where have you actually gone through, like, going back to the basics is what, there's always, you always need to grow in your faith. You always need to be better at loving at these things, but it really comes, it comes full circle all the time.
Exactly. Those basics are always the basics, and they're so important. I every day I do that still.
Yeah. But so I'm just saying it's good to see other people doing that in real time, because sometimes with a lot of this stuff that's been thrown, when you see death or hurt or almost like a church split or different things, you're like, I'm so black and white sometimes. From like, throw the baby out with the bathwater,
Yeah.
But that's not how it really is too. And I also wanted to touch on one other quick thing that I wanted to throw in before we go to rapid fire and wrap up. But I remember that I just want to bring up really quickly that you've really been, it's interesting. I'm not quite fully 100% here or there with you on this part of the conversation, but you're a big advocate for, churches without having like head pastors anymore. And it's definitely been an unpopular opinion at times, and an aspect of faith that people are almost like not willing to even look at, entertain, because it breaches the man-made perspective of church. And you've always been hammering home that. I've talked about this with our friend, and my mentor, your friend and mentor too, almost Ben Paquin. And especially, once again, John Marshall, like I said, some of the podcasts you listen to.
Right.
We don't have time to unpack it today, but it's definitely something that, like, I was almost arriving at when you were, like, kind of going through it and, like, really, I don't know, cross-referencing and researching and going all these different people you trusted about these things. I kind of felt it, like, subliminally in my own mind to a certain degree. So I just wanted to add that to the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just... we're in a culture, especially in the United States and in the Western world, where, our evangelical churches are typically run by one main man, a senior pastor, and the authority is in that one particular person, and it's like, so it's a problem sometimes because people are flesh and blood, and unfortunately we all go our own way, and so. You need other people to keep you accountable. But more than that is that if you just look at the Bible, you'll just see that it's always polycentric. In other words, there's always a multitude of leaders that are supposed to lead churches, right? It's always elders and stuff like that. So I don't need it. You and I have gone through that before. But it's even more important, I believe, right? Is because. For me, one of the main reasons why I think this way is because I think that people see in churches today, they see this main leader, right? And they look up to this main leader, and they look for this leader to lead them, right? But I don't believe that's the way that Jesus wants things to be. He wants each of us to know him, to understand who he is, right? And then what we are to do is we are to live our life out and to serve him and to do the things that he tells us to do. And we don't need a senior pastor or any other person like directing us. Now, it doesn't mean we don't need people around us to to encourage us and to lead us and stuff like that. But too many of us are being like, the senior pastor has to tell us what to do. It's like, no, it's not supposed to be that. We have the Holy Spirit. God wants to direct his people through his Holy Spirit. So stop looking at a single person. And that, to me, is the biggest problem that we have in the big churches. We're looking to a man. Instead, we're looking to the Lord and to the Holy Spirit.
I love it, man. You better preach. Let's end on rapid fire. Okay?
Rapid fire. Give it to me.
All right. So basically, this is going to be a version of like this or that. Ready? So here we go. Phone calls or texts?
Phone calls.
All right. Sleeping in or being an early bird?
Early bird.
Jeans or sweatpants?
Sweatpants.
Movie or book?
Book.
Wife or kids?
Ooh, wife.
MapQuest or Siri?
Neither. Oh, I have to do one of them?
Or Alice, right? That's your
Alice,
name.
Alice. Yeah.
All right. Cash or credit cards? What do you like using more?
Well, credit card. But I have to say, I always pay my credit card off every month because I hate being charged interest, and I never get charged interest because I hate being charged interest.
Very Jewish of you. One more month for me, and I'll be done too.
Yes, you're doing a good job.
Yep. News on TV or cell phones?
Cell phones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should get it. I want to try to move that, though.
Yeah. Golf or tennis?
Unfortunately, because my knees are not so good, I have to do golf right now.
Yes. Big house or a great location, like for like an Airbnb? Tough, right?
Oh, yeah, that's a tough one. I don't know. Good location, maybe.
Okay. Nice. Retire early or work longer doing less?
Retire early or...
I guess it's not really applicable anymore.
Yeah. So...
But you obviously retire early. That means you got to work your butt off.
Yeah. I guess retire early, I guess. I don't know.
Lose all your teeth or all your hair?
Oh, probably all my hair. At least because I like to eat.
Fair enough. You don't want to be having Go-Gurts for the
but
rest
it's like
of
I wear
your
a nice hat. I can wear that nice hat on my,
Yeah. Long-term or short-term memory?
I'd rather have short-term memory.
Yeah, fair enough. Personal chef or personal driver?
Ooh. I hate to miss my mother's cook and my wife's cooking.
It's fair.
Personal chef.
Give up favorite hobby or favorite food?
Favorite food, because my favorite hobby, like golf, I can always get some type of food.
Yeah.
But I don't want to give up the golf at all.
Yeah, you don't want to give it up at all?
Yeah.
That's
I want to like to play like 2, 3, 4 times a week since I'm retired.
Well, hey, that's gonna be coming up soon, man. So.
Yeah. Hey, Ben's friends, watch out, because I'm gonna be practicing. So I'm just here to warn you that.
Okay.
I'm gonna practice.
Okay. All right. We'll see what happens. Dad, thank you. Happy birthday. Happy New Year. Happy retirement. Thanks for coming on.
I love you, my son.
All right. Love you too, guys. Guys, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. And big things. More podcasts. More guests. More conversations. All that good jazz, even more types of podcasts coming out of here. So we'll see you in the new year. Peace.